Hello teachers, thanks for watching this weekly Connect for the second week of August. We are going to be teaching that everything is possible with God. So we're actually doing a true lesson that we did about 4 years ago, and it's from Hebrews 12. And we're going to just be talking to the kids about how things are possible when you have God in your life. It goes right along with our stories on Paul because, you know, the transformation that occurred in Paul and in his life seems impossible. Like nobody would believe that Saul, who later became Paul and started saving Christians, nobody would have thought that that transformation would happen. But it did, and that wasn't Paul's works. That wasn't for him and what he did alone. It's because he had God in his life, and the Holy Spirit helped him through that. So that's what we're going to be teaching the kids about. So it goes right along with our lessons from Paul. When the kids come in the room, we're going to talk to them about impossibilities, and we're going to give them a piece of paper and some crayons and markers and let them know that they are to draw something that they think is completely impossible. So they can draw silly things, weird animals like pigs flying. They can come up with an invention that they don't really know how to implement, but they think it'd be a great invention, and they're just drawing that out. We're going to just talk about impossible things, and then you're going to go ahead and go into your story room and just talk to the kids about how, you know, things became possible with Paul, even though we thought that was impossible. And we're going to hear a little bit more about that today from our study in Hebrews. You'll transition to your story time, and your Connect question is, if you could do anything in the world, what would you do? And have the kids spend a little bit of time on that. And then, of course, we will talk about Hebrews, and all of that's written out in your curriculum there. We also talk about from Matthew 28:20 that Jesus has said, I am with you always, that God will always be with us, whether we think something is super, super hard and we're dealing with it all on our own. We're not. When you have the Holy Spirit, when you have God with you, it's possible. He's with you. He can help you with that. Then, of course, you'll do your worship and your offering as always, and then your blessing this week is from Matthew 19:26, and then you'll transition back to your groups, your individual classrooms, and do your after story time questions. Have a little bit of time there talking to the kids, spending some fellowship. We also have a prayer time in this after story time. You can do a prayer time. I have a prompt written in there that might help you to increase some prayers coming in. You can write those down in your journals. Make sure to pray for the kids throughout the week and talk to them about how they can pray for others as well. Like I said, there's a prompt in there so that should help the discussion get rolling. And then if your kids need to do an activity, I know we did a craft at the beginning, then we like to do an activity as well. So our activity is about something that seems pretty impossible. So all the kids will have a straw, and there will be one piece of tissue. And you're going to tell the kids that they need to have a relay race to get this tissue from the straw in their mouth to their partner's mouth. And it seems impossible, but it works. So the kids just suck in, and they can hold up the straw. Hold up the tissue with their straw. And then you'll have the next person in line, like if they're standing in a line, you can do it as a relay race. You can do the whole class just sitting in a circle doing it if you don't want to compete. However you want to do it, there's lots of suggestions in your curriculum. But have them do that, then generally they pass it to the next person in line who also has the straw in their mouth, and then they start sucking in and they grab the straw. The person who had the tissue previously quit sucking in, and they release the straw, they release the tissue to the other person's straw, and so they just suck it in. It's a relay like that. So that's a pretty fun activity. If your kids are pretty antsy and they need to run a little bit, you can let them run across the room or to a stopping point and come back, do kind of a relay like that with the tissue connected to their straw. If your kids are littler and they're having a little bit of a hard time, if you want to just cut your straw a little bit shorter, we're going to throw them away anyway. It's after they have their mouths on them. So you can just cut the straw, and then that'll be less room for them to be sucking in. They'll be able to hold it a little bit better like that. So that's what we're going to be doing. As always, the Bible work is written in there, so if you have a little bit of extra time after all that, you can look up Titus. That's what we'll be learning about next week, and just have the kids put a bookmark in there. They can begin reading over Titus, and we'll be discussing that next week. So thank you so very much for your attention to this video. I hope it helps you in planning, and I hope it gets you encouraged and ready to start preparing for teaching this weekend. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week.